When it comes down to a car brand Lotus is seriously one of the most underrated British car companies ever. Their main focus reputation is making small, extremely light, and perfect handling sports cars in the car industry to appeal to drivers who experience racing on a track. Today, I bring you the 2012 Lotus Exige S V6, and it is truly a driver's car like other Lotuses. This Exige at the time was the fastest Lotus ever made and was the first Exige to feature a V6 engine they used from Toyota. So let's speak about this Lotus Exige S V6 that's made to be a tiny hardcore road league track toy and how good this car really is. The name Exige comes from the name specified as a more hardcore version of the Lotus Elise since the year 2000, and always has been a very quick sports car with track-oriented parts that feels like a go-kart. The previous Exiges used to have a smaller engines with an upgraded 1.8-liter Toyota inline-4 engine with a supercharger with the Series 1 and the Series 2. In 2011, Lotus produced a facelifted version of the second-gen Elise with the new triangular-shaped headlamps of the Series 3. And then there came this, the Lotus Exige S, introduced in 2011 at Frankfurt Motor Show and has many improvements over the previous Exige. The biggest change when this car came out in 2012 was that Lotus giving this Exige S a larger engine, resulting in this car with more weight and additional power. Featuring a 3.5-liter V6 engine from the best-selling common sedan in the United States from the Toyota Camry, and carries that engine from the Lotus Evora with a forced induction supercharger. Since some people might think that Lotuses are often unreliable because they are British and don't ever use reliable parts like Toyota and are likely to catch on fire like McLaren's, Lotus is a good car brand for fast cars and good reliability with most of their models because they are strongly Toyota powered. So if you're watching this video right now who owns a Toyota Camry, the Avalon, or Highlander, this Lotus has the exact same engine from your own Toyota, except here in the engine bay of this Lotus is modified and supercharged, making 350 brake horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, which may not sound as much, but has an amazing power-to-weight ratio with good amount of horsepower because the car weighs only 2,380 pounds, making it extremely light. The Exige S has 100 more horses than the predecessor, previously using a supercharged inline-4 making 250 horsepower. This Exige with its bigger V6 engine can accelerate 2 seconds faster from 0 to 60 time, coming in at 3.8 seconds than the previous model coming at 4 seconds, which sounds really fast because that is fast as a tiny bargain that's Toyota powered, and can get to a top speed of over 170 miles per hour or 273 kilometers an hour. That is just as quick fast enough to rival against the BMW M2, the Porsche Cayman, or even like the Alfa Romeo 4C. This car revs up at 7,000 RPMs combined with a 6-speed manual and comes optional in automatic. Moving on to the Exige looks on the outside end of the body specs. This Exige S uses the old basic shape and combined with a newer front bodywork. The car is a bit larger to accommodate the mid-mounted muscular V6 engine as well, resulting 10 inches longer and 2 inches wider than the previous model. At the front end looks very aggressive and cool and carries a front splitter that shows a clean line across the front bumper and a mounted small spoiler for improving aero. Despite at the same time, the Exige S V6 with the triangular lights at the front and the air intakes on the grille gives the car an expression like she is smiling like other Lotuses. Lotus is also famous for making attractive designs of small fast cars with the integrated cute smile for the whole generation of the Elise, Exige, and the Evora, just like any happy Miata. Anyways, the Exige S has a clean and smooth look all around the car with a mixture of aggressiveness, giving off an extreme sportiness as does with the vent across the hood. The 18-inch rims also looks great on this car. Moving on into inside the car. The Exige's interior is very basic and didn't get too much of a change like the previous Exiges either, because that's Lotus, but does get two interior options of Premium and Premium Sport. The Premium will do add seat comfort and style, while the Sport creates the optimized for ultimate driving experience. The interior is extremely basic, which means there is not too much to talk about because this Exige is mainly focused at saving weight. That's what the Exige is about. There are a couple things to point out inside of the Lotus. It has no glove compartment in the cabin, no infotainment screen, no luxuriousness in it at all. The steering wheel is very naked, just leather, with the Lotus badge as a horn in the center. The gauge clusters behind the steering wheel are normal with things that you expect. The tachometer on the left and the speedometer on the right with the transparent Lotus logo in between, and with the red screen to display how many miles the car has been driven. The radio controls and air conditioning is available with regular climate controls with 4 air conditioning vents in the cabin. Looking at the center console has nothing besides the driver's manual stick and the parking brake, while the seats are fairly comfortable to sit in a lightweight toy machine. Now let's jump into the practicality of this Exige S V6. Trunk space at the front is very minimum. The capacity is about 5.7 cubic feet of cargo and is equivalent to the Evora, and the Exige only has 2 seats, just like all the other Lotuses. Meanwhile, this Lotus is the latest generation of the Exige S3. However, Lotus always have made many variants of this car. The V6 Exige went in production and sold from 2012 to 2021. First they came with this original and then the roadster version of the Exige S for 2013. Alongside the V6 Cup, the Exige 360 Cup, the Exige 380, the Exige 410, the Exige 430, and the final editions. That's a lot of versions of the Exiges. Oh, and forgot to squeeze in the Lotus 311. That's a race car. So how does this ordinary Exige S drives from 2012? I'll tell you, I bet this car drives like a toy and feels fantastic and agile. Since this Exige is so small with a powerful V6 engine, it definitely feels like a driver is sitting on the ground, and that's the point. The Exige is that's literally made to be on a track, and when you do, this car is a beast. You can genuinely feel the flexibility that this brings when you play around on a racetrack. The handling is very sharp, the brakes are very strong, and brings all the fun experience to any experienced driver who is willingly to drive it. The stick shift feels comfortable to use, and the car feels extremely lightweight and grippy. This thing allows you to hold power slides because there's a faster steering ratio, while the car is very balanced and feels quick around low and high speed corners. The car has no problem riding around any turns. When you push the gas for a throttle getting up to speed, the V6 just sounds incredibly good, but you barely don't hear the supercharger. But it's there, you just hear most of the engine. Unlike the old Exiges with an old school inline 4 engine, you can definitely hear the supercharger for sure. On the streets, this Exige, like any Exige, can be used with every bit of its horsepower but lacks practical, and very road friendly and all about having fun with the performance. Just know that this car definitely sounds louder and crispier and more powerful than your own Toyota due to the retuned engine and exhaust system. Unfortunately, this Exige, including the S3 Elises, was never sold in the United States after 2011 because Lotus sells them without smart airbags, therefore it doesn't meet the US safety regulations. But the Evora is still sold in the US, which is a good thing. However, the V6 Exige can be bought in the United States as a track-only car. So if you're interested into driving this Lotus Exige V6, or the better and more faster trims with this car, go for it. Lotuses can be reliable but rare, especially here in the United States. But I promise you, you'll probably run to any of them in the car meets. And I actually seen the Lotus in real life. So that's the end of the car review of the Lotus Exige S V6 from 2012, and I hope you guys did really sit back and relax and enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to give this video a like, and I'll see you in upcoming videos, and always, you are more than welcome to give me any car suggestions. Peace.